Hey everyone, and welcome to our deep dive. Today we're tackling a goal I think a lot of us share, that extra $1,000 in savings. Even if, things feel a little tight right now, we're going to figure out how to make it happen.
Yeah, it's funny. The guide we're looking at today really emphasizes that no sweat approach. And honestly, they say it's so simple, even a kid could do it.
Okay, now you've got me curious. What's their secret?
2 words, automation. Taking all that thought and effort out of saving, which makes a lot of sense. Willpower can only get us so far, right?
Totally. I'm sold on the idea, at least.
Yeah.
So walk me through this whole automation thing. How's it actually work?
Well, it all starts small. We're not talking about some huge life overhaul or anything. It's about setting up automatic transfers, just a little bit like $5 or $10 from checking to savings every payday instead of trying to save some big chunk of money all at once.
Okay, so kind of like sneaking those veggies into the smoothie. You barely notice they're there. But I got to ask, do a few bucks here and there really make a difference?
Oh, they absolutely do. And this is where the psychology comes in. You're kind of paying yourself first, which is a really powerful mindset shift. Right off the bat, you're putting your financial well-being front and center.
Love that. The most important bill you pay all month to yourself.
Exactly. And all those small wins, those consistent little deposits, they really add up over time, not just in your account, but also you start to feel more in control, more accomplished.
You're saying even if it seems like a drop in the bucket at first, over time, it's like a wave of change building.
Exactly. Think of it like building muscle, right? You don't go to the gym once and suddenly you're ripped. It's about consistent effort, and saving is the same way.
That's a great analogy. All right, so we're automating those small, regular savings. What's next on our effortless savings journey?
Well, have you ever heard of these Roundup apps? This is where things get kind of interesting.
I've heard of them, but haven't really looked into them much. Tell me more.
Basically, they're apps like, say, Acorns or Digit that round up your purchases to the nearest dollar, and that spare change, it gets invested automatically. It's like a piggy bank, but instead of sitting on a shelf gathering dust, it's out there working for you.
Okay, that does sound kind of fun, like a game.
Yeah.
But how does it actually work? Like, give me an example.
Sure. Say you're grabbing your morning coffee, costs $2.75. The app, it rounds that up to $3, and that extra 25 cents, boom, goes straight into your savings. You probably wouldn't even miss that quarter, right? But over time, those little bits add up.
Never thought of it like that. So simple, so effortless. Is there something about how our brains work that makes this so effective?
Totally. It's all about micro savings and habits. Our brains, they tend to focus on the big picture, those larger amounts, so we don't really notice those few cents here and there.
Okay.
But those microtransactions, they really can add up over time. It's almost like magic.
Like that saying, take care of the pennies and the pounds will take care of themselves. But in this case, the app's taking care of those pennies for us. I see how these two steps work together.
Exactly. You've got those regular automatic transfers building that solid foundation, and then the Roundup app swoops in to give your savings that extra boost without you even having to think about it.
Okay, I'm hooked. What's the final piece of this effortless savings puzzle? What else does the guide recommend?
So imagine this. You get a tax refund, right? Or maybe you sell some stuff online. Instead of it disappearing, that unexpected money, it gets automatically funneled right into your savings.
Oh, so we're automating those bonus chunks of money too.
Exactly. It's the whole out of sight, out of mind thing. That income, it wasn't part of your regular budget anyway, so saving it, practically painless.
Tricking ourselves into being responsible, I like it. But, okay, we've got these 3 strategies all working together now. How much are we actually talking about saving with this approach?
Let's do some math. Say you're putting away $10 every payday. That's $260 a year. Then let's say your Roundup app, it stashes away an average of, we'll say, $5 a week. That's another $260 annually. And then factor in maybe a modest $250 from those, unexpected income moments throughout the year.
Okay, hold on. My brain's doing the calculations.
Yeah.
$770. All that just from those 3 simple things.
See? And the beauty is that's just the beginning. Your income grows. You can always adjust those automatic transfers, and those little micro savings, they just keep compounding over time.
This is wild. It really shows you how those small actions, if you do them consistently, they snowball into something so much bigger. It's like that saying, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. But in this case, it's a single step, a few automatic transfers, maybe a Roundup app or 2 along the way.
I like that. And honestly, it's all about taking that first step and building momentum from there. You don't need to have everything figured out perfectly on day one. Maybe start with one strategy that clicks for you, really master it, and then bam, add another one.
Progress, not perfection.
I love it. Now, for anyone listening who's thinking, okay, this all sounds great, but I'm barely making ends meet as it is, what advice does the guide give for those situations? I think that's a really common concern, but the guide, it actually stresses that saving, it's not about having like this abundance of money. It's about deciding to make your financial well-being a priority, no matter what your income looks like.
It's true. Think of it this way. You find $5 on the sidewalk, right? You wouldn't tell yourself you can't save it because it's not enough.
Okay, good point. Every little bit counts. But how do you find those extra dollars to save when it feels like every penny's already spoken for?
That's where you got to put on your detective hat a little. The guide talks about tracking your spending for a month or two just to see. You might be surprised what you find.
Like how often I buy coffee when I could have just made some at home? Busted. Exactly. We all have those little recurring expenses that kind of fly under the radar, but once you see them, it's like you've got this control, right? Maybe you swap that daily latte for a homemade brew a few times a week, or, try some cheaper meal prep options.
So it's less about crazy sacrifices and more about being mindful. I like it. But we've all been there, right? Sometimes those unexpected expenses, they just pop up out of nowhere, and it's like, there goes the savings plan. How do you roll with those punches and not let them completely derail you?
That's where a good emergency fund comes in, like a safety net, to cushion those unexpected hits life throws your way.
Your financial buffer zone so those unexpected expenses don't totally knock you off course.
Exactly. And the best part, you don't need a ton of money to get started. Even a little emergency fund can give you that peace of mind, and it'll keep you from dipping into those savings goals you're working towards.
This has been seriously eye-opening. We've gone from automating small savings to changing how we think about money and even tackling those unexpected financial things that come up. This is a gold mine of practical tips and advice.
It really is. And I think the biggest takeaway here is that saving, it isn't one size fits all, right? It's about finding what works for you, for your own situation and your goals.
So true. As we wrap up this deep dive, any final words of wisdom for our listeners out there? That one golden nugget to leave them with?
Remember that being good with money, it's not like a finish line you cross. It's a journey. There'll be bumps, wrong turns, the whole 9 yards. What matters is just keeping at it one step at a time.
Like they say, the only way to eat an elephant is one bite at a time.
Yeah.
And in this case, we're not eating an elephant. We're conquering our financial goals one small automated step at a time.
Exactly. Celebrate the small wins along the way. Go easy on yourself if you stumble. And remember, building good financial habits, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
You got that right. This has been so inspiring. A huge thank you to our expert for these incredible insights and to you, our amazing listeners, for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you feel empowered, ready to crush those savings goals. Until next time, happy saving.